Good evening, everyone. We are back with our fifth session on logical reasoning. This time, Friday the 13th, we will actually get the fear out of our for the CAT and that and other exams. So Dhruvo sir is here with us once again, and as the name suggests, today he's going to address advanced level of logical reasoning. LR was once, I think, covered, I think, in the first or the second session which we had. Today's program is being in association with VIT B School, one of the topmost interest, according to NIRF ranking, the top private institute of the country. And the scene is also hitting up with NMAT, which has started. The last date for the extended registration was 12th, which was day for yesterday. And today, I think another 2 weeks we would also have CAT admit cards getting released. And the other thing which I was discussing with few of the faculties, I think Dhruvo sir also can throw some light on this. Now that this year CAT has, the registration has gone up significantly from some around 2 lakh to it has crossed 3 lakh. So while the institutes and the directors of the B schools faculties are very happy, how is the news to be happy about for the students also? Will there be the competition would be tougher? Will the cutoff be higher? But anyway, I'll leave it at that. Let's not get into that first. Maybe some time other we can discuss that. For now, it is over to you, Dhruvo sir, for the logical reasoning advanced level.
Hi everyone. Today we are actually going to take forward what we had discussed last time. So last time we had discussed about purely basics and strategies and things to keep in mind while doing logical reasoning. Today what I am going to do is I am going to take up specific chapters and etc. and talk in greater detail about how logical reasoning will look like and how we are going to actually deal with the paper. Okay. I will be looking through your YouTube link. So whatever comments and chats you send, just keep sending it to me so that I can respond to you looking at the channel. Okay. Let me start by just reminding ourselves what we had discussed during the last time, that mainly if we look into the CAT syllabus, there are 4 main chapters, that is arrangements, distributions, Venn diagrams, games and tournaments, and conditional statements and selections. These are the main 4 chapters that we had decided that we will study for CAT. And if I'm just talking about with respect to last 10-15 years or so. Okay. Now beyond CAT, if we go beyond CAT and we look into NMAT, SNAP, ZAT, and etc., as we had discussed, we have the other type of questions which will include cubes and cutting of cubes, some visualization questions, calendars, which will involve taking the benchmark as, let's say, today's date and then trying to find out what will be the date 100 years down the line or 200 years down the line, or finding out some specific day and a date combination and so on. Series, number series, letter series, odd man out, and so on. And the last one was non-verbal. Okay. Since CAT is near, we will be talking about the first 4 most important things, that is arrangements, distributions, Venn diagram, games and tournaments, and conditional statements. And cubes and calendars I will leave with some suggestions which I'm not going to give in detail right now, and maybe in the subsequent sessions I will deal with them in much greater detail. Let's first talk about arrangements and selections. And as we had discussed in the last session, okay, whenever we are talking about arrangement selection questions, the key to solve this question is to read the information in a proper sequencing. Okay. Please remember, in CAT as well as in other exams, the informations that are given not necessarily in the most user friendly manner. Okay, there are bullet points, but they're obviously not given that you should start from point 1, then from point 2, and then point 3, because that will make the question very very easy and straightforward. Okay, they are going to check whether you can sequence the data and therefore find out the information. And therefore, if you remember, even in the last class we had discussed that we'll have to recognize the so-called positive confirmed information, positive unconfirmed information, and negative information. What I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to show you and demonstrate some questions, so that you see what do we mean by positive confirmed, positive unconfirmed, and negative. But just to share again, positive confirmed as per my definition, and remember these definitions you get only in coaching institutes, you don't get in standard books, or there is no constitution for it. But yeah, positive confirmed is something wherein when you start making the diagram for arrangement or selections, based on the framework of diagram that you have made, you can put some people in that diagram in a confirmed position. For example, if there are 5 seats and I come to know that A sits in the middle of the row, then A sitting right here is what I call a positive confirmed information. Okay, a positive confirmed information is when very clearly somebody can be placed in the diagram without having any hassle. Okay, there is no other possibility of any other case happening. Okay, only when we don't have a positive confirmed information we'll go for a positive unconfirmed information. Okay, a positive unconfirmed information is it is slightly lower than a positive confirmed, because obviously I might have multiple cases to start with. Okay, or while I know partial information about it but not a full information, but that is what is positive unconfirmed, wherein I might have to make multiple cases. For example, A sitting in the middle of the row, as you just now saw, is a positive confirmed information. But positive unconfirmed will be an information something like A sits at one of the end points. Now, when I said A sits at one of the end points, it is still a positive confirmed positive information, because there is no word like no, not, none, neither, etc. But I still will now have to make 2 cases, one with A being here, the other with A being here. So at least I could start the diagram, but that is not unique diagram for the case of A, because it's an unconfirmed information. Or even something like A sitting here and B sitting to the left of A. Again, 2 cases will be required, because B could have sat here or B could have sat here. So therefore, this type of information is known as positive unconfirmed information. As I said, we must start with positive confirmed, move towards positive unconfirmed, and then at the end we talk about negative information. Now, what is negative information? A negative information is something like A is not adjacent to B, or B is not sitting at the endpoints. So where there are sentences like no, not, none, neither, these are known as negative information. Okay, now let me demonstrate it by an example. Okay, uh, this is a question from a previous year snap. Okay, wherein some information was given about 6 friends A, B, C, D, E, F. They were talking about different types of games that they play. Each one is proficient with one of the games. Each one owns a different colored car, namely yellow, green, black, white, blue, and red. So therefore, what we know is that every singular person has one unique combination for a game and one unique combination for the color of the car. Okay, now this is exactly what we are supposed to make, and there were questions following it, as in who wears the blue color shirt, who wears the green color shirt, who plays tennis, and something like that. Okay, there is a set of questions, 3 questions out of it. Now obviously you will have to make a diagram out of it, and generally the diagram will take into account all the 3 criteria, that is name of the friend, the sports they play, and the color of their car. Okay, this is the diagram that we are talking about, that is what we are supposed to make. Okay, now when I make the diagram, look at the sequencing that I will do, and I'm just demonstrating it so that you can solve it yourself and start solving it with parallelly to me. Okay, so that you can understand how do I solve this question, and Therefore, you can make the diagram and you can also solve it with me. We will start with something called positive confirmed information. Now, before you start with the positive confirmed information, remember, if there are more than two parameters, for example, here there are three parameters: name of the person, the sports they play, and the color of their car. Okay, I should not juggle with all the three information. One of them I should make fixed. It can be sports, it can be color, it can be the name of the person. For example, just for the example sake, I will take the name to be fixed. What I will do is, one of the columns I will not play with. This column I am going to fix it. So I am going to make it as A, B, C, D, E, and F. I am not going to juggle with it. Okay, now this is very, very important to understand, that if you start juggling with all the three information, then you will go into a hodgepodge. So don't do that. The same thing could have been done by making sports constant or making color constant, but don't juggle with all the three information. Juggle with only two or even less than two maybe. Now let's go one by one. Let's look at the information. It says D plays polo and owns a yellow car. So this is a confirmed information, because with D, I can start the diagram: plays polo and owns a yellow car. The next one is a negative information. C does not play either tennis or hockey and owns neither a blue nor a yellow car, is something which I'm going to ignore as of now. Because if you remember, when we are talking about the sequencing part, we actually said that we will start with positive confirmed, then we'll go with positive unconfirmed, and then we will go with negative. Okay, so we don't look at the second information. We read it, we understand it is negative, we will come back to it. Let's see this next information. E owns a white car and plays badminton. Again, a positive confirmed information. Now just remember, गलती से हम लोग white और badminton को उल्टा पुल्टा ना कर दे. So यहाँ पे हम लोग we are playing badminton and owns a white car. Okay. B does not play tennis. Ignore. B does not play tennis. Ignore negative information. But he owns a red car. So therefore, that's the information that I can put: red car. Okay. A plays cricket. And owns a black car. Okay. Now this is what we have done. We have filled up all the positive confirmed information. Just check it out. Is there any positive unconfirmed information? Something like, B plays either hockey or cricket or something like that. Is there any information like that? We don't. Okay. And therefore, now we will play with the negative information. So I started with positive confirmed, filled up the diagram as much as possible. Okay. Ignored the negative information. Now I will be playing with the positive unconfirmed. I did not get any. I will go with the negative ones. Now, when you are going with the negative ones, this is very, very important. Please target that column or that row which is more filled. For example, here in the sports column, there are only 3 filled, but in the color column, there are 4 filled. Okay. So I would rather fill the color wala column first and not the sports wala column, because I will have less information to fill in the color wala column. So now let's see what all color is missing. We have already got black. So black is done. We have already got red. So red is also done. Yellow is done. And white is done. So we are left with green and blue. Now let's look at the negative informations. Okay. We are left with green and blue, and let's play with the negative information. The negative information, the first negative information says C does not play either tennis or hockey. Keep it aside for now. Owns neither a blue nor a yellow car. ठीक है. अब येलो कार तो पहले ही चला गया है, ब्लू उसको चाहिए नहीं, ब्लू हमारे पास ऑप्शन था. सो देयरफॉर व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट सी, उसको क्योंकि ब्लू नहीं दे सकते हम, देन ही विल गो विद ग्रीन, which will automatically mean this guy will get blue. Okay, so that fills up your color wala column. Similarly, now if you come to the sports wala column, let's find out what all sports are left. We have already done with badminton. we are done with polo, we are done with cricket. So we are left with volleyball, hockey, tennis. And now C says he neither plays tennis nor plays hockey. तो टेनिस भी नहीं, हॉकी नहीं, तो बेचारा तो वॉलीबॉल ही खेलेगा. ठीक है, तो हमारा वॉलीबॉल भी खत्म हो गया. नाउ वी आर लेफ्ट विथ हॉकी एंड टेनिस, एंड बी डज नॉट प्ले टेनिस. ओके, ओ सॉरी, वॉलीबॉल, सॉरी माय मिस्टेक, मैंने गलत जगह में बिठा दिया. सी का बात हो रहा है. हाँ, सी प्लेज वॉलीबॉल. ठीक है, बी डज नॉट प्ले टेनिस, और हमारे पास हॉकी और टेनिस का ही ऑप्शन है, तो बी मस्ट बी प्लेइंग हॉकी and F is playing tennis. Okay, now this makes my full diagram, and therefore based on that you can answer whatever questions you want, and that is how the diagrams have to be made. Okay, so the approach that I am telling you to do in arrangement, selection, questions and so on is, again, just to remind ourselves, this was just a demonstration of how the questions needs to be done, is we'll be talking about positive confirmed information, then positive unconfirmed information, then negative information. Negative information, please remember, will make multiple number of cases. So unless and until you finish your positive confirmed and positive unconfirmed, if we start with something like saying C does not play either tennis or hockey, okay, please understand, let's say if we start with this information and we start saying that this information we start with, I understand hypothetically you might not have ever started with it, but yeah, C does not playing either tennis or hockey, just removes tennis or hockey, it gives me C as badminton possible, volleyball possible, cricket possible, or polo possible. So therefore, instead of 2 cases, you would have made 5 cases. Okay, or similarly, A does not sit at either end of the row, would have made C sitting in any of second, third, or fourth position, which would have made it 3 cases. So therefore, never ever start with negative information unless and until you are forced to do so, and there are only negative informations in the question. Okay, so that is the first rule of the game, and that is how you should solve the questions. The tougher the questions are, the better it is to start with positive confirmed, positive unconfirmed, and then negative. That will make your life easy. Okay, let's talk about Venn diagrams. Okay, now let's spend some time on Venn diagrams and the concepts of Venn diagrams. One of the most common mistakes that people do, and nobody to be blamed, we are learning wrong English in all our across all the surroundings that we have, but let's understand one of the most important pitfalls, understanding the difference between and or. Okay, so when I say tea and coffee, okay, I actually mean I am going to have both. Okay, a tea and coffee practically means I am going to have both. Okay, in Venn diagram language, if we have already done the basics of the chapter as we had suggested earlier, okay, when we say tea and coffee, we mean both, which in this case will mean intersection. Okay, the intersection part, the people who would like to have both tea as well as coffee. Now here comes the twist. When I say tea or coffee, okay, by your colloquial sense of English or the Hinglish that we use in Indian context, और जैसे आपके घर में कोई आता है और आप पूछते हो आप क्या लेंगे, टी और कॉफी, ठीक है, what you generally mean is you will give only one of the two. Okay, however, in cat English, in British English, or the Renan Martin grammar English that we follow, please note, tea or coffee does not mean one of the two, it means at least one of the two. Okay, so you are actually creating 3 possibilities here. When you say tea or coffee, it means all the 3 possibilities, that is only tea, only coffee, and both. Okay, all the 3 possibilities are there when you say tea or coffee. Okay, it means at least one of the two. If there were 3 things, then it would have meant at least one of the 3. Okay, so the fundamental idea that I'm trying to build out here is whenever we are doing these questions, you will have to move from beyond your common understanding of the word or and look at them as uh, the the real royal grammatical English that is going to come in CAT. Okay, so tea or coffee will practically mean in Venn diagram language union. Okay, that means all the possibilities inside that Venn diagram. Okay, so let me again understand by the diagram. Okay, if you look at, let's say, this is A, this is B, and this is C. Okay, Venn diagram, and I say A and B. Okay, how many people have passed in A and B? I mean the number that will be here as well as that will be here, summation of these two, the whole intersection of A and B. Okay, everybody who is there in the intersection of A and B will be mentioned as A and B. So if I just leave you with some numbers, let's say, okay, so let me try out with some numbers. Let's say this circle represents A, this circle represents B, and this circle represents C. Okay, leave your comments as an answer. Let's say there are 10 people here, 12 people here, 15 people here, 3 people here, 4 people here, 6 people here, and 5 people here. And also there are 10 people who have not passed in any of A, B, or C. Let's say there are 3 subjects that the exam happened: A, subject B, subject C. Okay, and there are 10 people who have failed in all the 3 subjects. Okay, now if that is understood, then if I say how many people have passed in A and B, okay, anybody wants to give an answer? How many people who have passed in A and B? What will that mean, A and B? Anybody? How many people have passed in A and B? I will look at your comments if you want to comment. Anyone? I'm taking a pause. 4. Okay. Somebody said 4. Anyone else? Okay. The answer is actually 4 plus 5, 9. Okay. It has to be the summation. So Manish, when I say A and B, you'll have to look at this whole part. So it is 4 plus 5, 9. Okay. Now this is very, very important. Okay. Which is where most of the questions will go. So if I wanted to show only the 4 part, okay, if I had to make a question looking at only these 4 people, then my question should have got passed in only A and B. Only A and B would have made this 4. But if I say A and B and this only word is not there, then it is going to be actually 4 plus 5, 9. Okay, now can somebody also tell me, let's see whether you understood the last slide. If I say passed in A or B, okay, how many people have passed in A or B? Comments please. Anyone who can give me an answer. Passed in A or B. Remember, when I say A or B, reminding you, we are talking about people who have passed in, I repeat, at least one of these two. एटलीस्ट वन, हिंदी में जिसको बोलते हैं कम से कम एक सब्जेक्ट में. ओके, एटलीस्ट वन. आप ये देखो नहीं मनीष, ठीक है, तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अनुष्का मूविंग इन द राइट डायरेक्शन. ओके, व्हेन आई से एटलीस्ट वन ऑफ ए और बी, it will fundamentally mean 10 plus 12, 22, 26, 31, 34, 40. all of them. Anybody who is in A or who is in B will be in A or B. Now whether they are in C or not, it does not really matter. Okay, anybody who is in inside A or B or both will be coming in A or B. So 10, 4, 14, 26, 31, 34, 40, summation of all this, जो भी A के अंदर है या B के अंदर है, everybody will come in A or B. Now this is very very different from what we understand as OR. Okay, so keep that in mind while solving this question, that OR in CAT means completely something different from what we understand as OR. Okay, similarly passing in A, so if I ask you how many people passed in A, the number of people passing in A is everybody who is inside the circle of A. So if I say how many people passed in A, it is 10 plus 4, 14, 14 plus 5, 19, 19 plus 3, 22. Okay, everybody who is passed in A will be passing in A. So passing in A is 22. But if I now ask you passing in only A, ओनली वर्ड का बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस है यहां पे. पासिंग इन ओनली ए, that means the moment you use the word emphasizer only fundamentally means सिर्फ A में पास किया है, बाकी किसी में नहीं. Passing in only A, passing in only A is this 10 only this 10, nobody else. I hope this is clear. Passing in A means passing in A and nothing else. Okay, so this becomes very very important while solving Venn diagram questions. So if you are finding whatever I am teaching right now as difficult or different or something like that, get your doubts cleared, get somebody, an expert who can teach you this, but clear this out, because these concepts will become very very important while solving this question. Because Venn diagram question is not only about drawing the Venn diagram is also about understanding this meaning of these sentences and then solving this question, because otherwise the meaning of these sentences will completely change. Okay, and we will land up doing all the questions wrong. Okay, so just make sure that these figures and whoever you are learning it from, or if you are doing some mocks, understanding these figures well, so that you become very very clear about what type of questions you are doing. Similarly, just assuming again that let's say there are 10 people who do not play any of the 3 games, whenever we are talking about how many people play at most 2 games, or how many people have passed in at most 2 subjects. Okay, how many people have passed in at most 2 subjects? What does the word at most mean? At most means maximum. Okay, at most means zyada se zyada, maximum 2 subjects. Now what we tend to do is we start from lower than 2, so therefore we say that okay, 10, 12, 15 तो हो जाएगा. So therefore 22 plus 15, 37 तो हो गए. Plus 3 plus 4 plus 6 ये भी हो गए. What do we miss out? We miss out on people passing in 0 subjects. When we say maximum 2 means 2 या उससे कम. I hope this is clear. 2 या उससे कम. So people passing in 0 subject, people passing in 1 subject, people passing in 2 subjects, all of them will actually come in at most 2. Okay. Similarly, when I say at least 2 would mean 2 या उससे ज़्यादा, कम से कम 2, तो 2 or 3 वाले. So therefore, when you say at least, it is 3, 4, 6, and this 5. Okay, so be very clear with these meanings and etc. Please do a lot of practice based on that, because If you don't understand these Venn diagram questions and you start filling up without knowing these concepts, then however number of questions you practice, maybe you have practiced hundreds of questions on Venn diagrams, but if your basic concepts are not clear here, then you will definitely not be able to get good marks in Venn diagram questions. Okay, so here these questions become very important, these concepts become very important. Okay, in games and tournaments, again, you will need to understand the concept of how a game is played, how it is scored. Okay, not that you don't know, but I mean, instead of playing it as a risk, you should definitely know कि फुटबॉल और हॉकी जैसे गेम्स जो होते हैं वो कैसे खेलते हैं, क्रिकेट जो होता है वो कैसे खेलते हैं. If somebody is not interested in football and they don't know what is a goal, ठीक है, it is generally taken as general knowledge. And I, in my life, I have seen uh, at least 1,000 odd students who don't play hockey or football or don't follow hockey or football. उनको पता ही नहीं है गोल स्कोर्ड क्या होता है. ठीक है, तो again, understanding what is goal scored for, what is goal scored against, what do you mean by goal difference. ठीक है, these are some of the things that you should definitely know. For example, अगर A और B के बीच में मैच हो रहा है, ठीक है, और मैच एंड तक स्कोर होता है कि ए ने 4 गोल मारा और बी ने 2 गोल मारा, सो ए ने जीता एट ए रिजल्ट ऑफ 4-2. ए स्कोर्ड 4 goals, बी स्कोर्ड 2 goals. देन फॉर ए, goal scored for is 4 and goal scored against is 2. कितना उसने गोल दूसरे टीम को मारा, ओपोनेंट को मारा, is goal scored for. कितना उसने गोल खाया, right? Yeah, the how many goals the opponent team has scored against you is goal scored against. So both for A, when we make the table, for A the goal scored for will become 4, the goal scored against will become 2, and goal difference will become 2. Now for B, if you go for the same result, same match, goal scored for is 2 because उसने खुद गोल किया है 2, goal scored against is 4, and goal difference, that is always calculated as goal scored for minus goal scored against, which can be negative and therefore will be equal to -2. ओके, ये इसके ऊपर बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन आते हैं. ठीक है, सो देयरफॉर इसको, ये कॉन्सेप्ट को जान लीजिए एंड अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट. फॉर एग्जांपल, व्हेन यू डू सच क्वेश्चंस, यू विल गेट टू नो दैट टोटल गोल स्कोर्ड फॉर और टोटल गोल स्कोर्ड अगेंस्ट हमेशा इक्वल होता है, एंड समेशन ऑफ ऑल गोल डिफरेंसेस विल ऑलवेज बिकम इक्वल टू 0. जाहिर सी बात है, अगर किसी का 2 हो रहा है तो किसी का -2 हो रहा है उसी मैच में. ठीक है, so therefore total goal scored for and goal scored against, the two columns will always be equal, and the summation of all the goal differences of all the teams will be always equal to 0. Okay, now this is a very important concept and you should know this. Similarly, the concept of point distribution. Okay, ऐसे गेम्स जो होते हैं फुटबॉल के, हॉकी के, उसके 2 रिजल्ट हो सकते हैं. एक तो मैच विन लूज में खत्म हुआ कि एक टीम जीता एक टीम हारा, लेकिन एक और पॉसिबिलिटी है कि मैच ड्रॉ हो गया. ठीक है, इट एंडेड इन ए ड्रॉ, नोबडी वन नोबडी लॉस्ट. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे पॉइंट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. विन लॉस सिचुएशन अगर होता है और अगर आपका पॉइंट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन 2-1-0 है, नोट दिस डाउन, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यानी जीतने पे आपको 2 पॉइंट मिलता है, हारने पे 0 पॉइंट मिलता है और ड्रॉ करने पे 1 पॉइंट मिलता है. ओके, नाउ व्हाई दिस इज इजियर टू डू इज बिकॉज आप समझोगे कि हर मैच में एक्चुअली 2 पॉइंट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो रहा है. जो जीत गया उसको 2 पॉइंट मिल गया, जो हार गया इसको 0 पॉइंट मिल गया. तो मैच अगर विन लॉस में खत्म हो रहा है तो अल्टीमेटली इट इज 2 पॉइंट्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड. मैच अगर ड्रॉ में खत्म हो रहा है तब भी देयर आर 2 पॉइंट्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड बिकॉज ए और बी का मैच हुआ, मैच ड्रॉ हो गया, तो मैच ड्रॉ हो जाता है तो दोनों को 1-1 पॉइंट मिलता है. तो अल्टीमेटली यहां पे भी टोटल 2 पॉइंट्स ही मिले. तो इसका एडवांटेज क्या है कि अगर पॉइंट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम ऐसा हुआ और अल्टीमेटली मैं बोलता हूं पूरे टूर्नामेंट में समेशन करके सबके पॉइंट्स, जब मैंने ए बी सी डी के पॉइंट्स कैलकुलेट किए और मैंने देखा टोटल 108 पॉइंट्स बन रहे हैं, तो आप सीधा सीधा बोल सकते हो भाई साहब इसका मतलब इस टूर्नामेंट में टोटल 54 मैचेस हुए थे, क्योंकि हर मैच में टोटल 2 पॉइंट्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हुए थे। अब जैसे भी पॉइंट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हो, जैसे जितना भी पॉइंट्स ए को मिले, बी को मिले, सी को मिले, अल्टीमेटली हर मैच में 2 पॉइंट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हुए थे। समेशन ऑफ ऑल पॉइंट्स इफ इट इज 108, that means there are total 54 matches that were played in the tournament. But this changes completely, okay, and the question will become actually difficult if the point distribution system, which is more prevalent actually, is if win you get 3 points, losing you get 0 point, and draw you get 1 point. Now if the match actually ends in a win-loss situation, then there are actually 3 points distributed. The winner takes 3 points, the loser gets 0. But if the match ends in a draw, then both A and B who ended the match in a draw gets 1 point, and therefore the total number of points distribution is 2. And therefore ultimately, even if I have been told that total 108 points were distributed, I don't know the total number of matches played in the tournament, because there will be some games which ended with 3 points and there were some games which ended with 2 points. Okay, so the only thing that we can do is we can make an equation saying that the number of matches that ended in a draw, you distributed 2 points, is the number of matches which ended in a clear cut result, we distributed 3 points, is 3R plus 2D must be equal to 108, and total number of matches played in the tournament must have been R plus D. अब वो क्वेश्चन के ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा, डेटा के ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा कि आपके पास कितने इन्फॉर्मेशन और आप क्या डायग्राम बना सकते हो. Okay, so therefore again this concept is very very important, that you know this concept, understand the differences between the two, and get this question done. Similarly, number of games that are played in a league tournament, knockout tournament, mixed tournament. League tournament क्या होता है? League tournament is something like Indian Premier League, you already know, where each team plays with every other team in the tournament. Whereas knockout tournament is a type of a tournament wherein if you lose the game, you are out of the tournament. Okay, so understand the difference between the two, who plays with whom. World Cup football is a perfect example of a mixed tournament, जहाँ पे पहला राउंड लीग होता है, जहाँ पे ग्रुप्स में डिवाइड कर दिया जाता है, and then from quarter final onwards it is a mixed tournament where there is a knockout part as well. Okay, what is the problem? How many teams can participate? For example, understand it very simply, and when you do a trial and error, you will understand that in a knockout tournament the total number of teams has to be of the form 2 to the power n. आप 34 टीम्स या 36 टीम्स लेके टूर्नामेंट चालू कर ही नहीं सकते, कहीं ना कहीं जाके आपको दिक्कत हो जाएगा, आपको प्लेयर्स नहीं मिलेंगे क्योंकि एक ऑड नंबर आ जाएगा. ठीक है, बट सो देयरफॉर इन अ नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट इट इज ऑलवेज एंश्योर्ड दैट टोटल नंबर ऑफ टीम्स पार्टिसिपेटिंग विल बी ऑफ द फॉर्म 16 या 32 या 64 या 128 या समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो देयरफॉर व्हेन यू डोंट सी दैट इन द क्वेश्चन, you should get some hint. Okay, and that also should therefore give you, for example, when you do again a trial and error, you will see since 64 is of the form 2 to the power 6, उस knockout tournament में total 6 round होता है to get a clear cut winner. Okay, so therefore what I am trying to build out here is that get into the concepts of it, study some of the concepts, get some professional help. Okay, and based on that, whatever concepts are still left, please study them. Without studying, just practicing them will not clear your concepts here. Okay, knockout tournament, a very very important one. Games fixtures, who plays with whom. Please understand that one cannot play with two in the first round. How many rounds are to be played, how many matches are to be played. अगर कोई प्लेयर इंजर्ड हो जाता है और game give up कर देता है, then how is a bye decided? Okay, if there are total number of players is odd, how is it decided? These are some of the things which you need to study. Find out a book, get a grab of a book which gives you the theory, study them before you practice. Without studying them, just practicing a question will not give you the full idea. Okay, the buy wala question, the buy wala concept is, you see that I have put an asterisk out here because buy kabhi abhi tak CAT mein aaya nahi. However, it's a good idea to be ready with the concept, because और जितने तरीके के क्वेश्चंस हो सकते थे वो more or less CAT में एक आध बार आ चुका है. So therefore please study about it. Okay, the last and the most important concept that I want you people to study is the concept of conditional statements. Okay, ये भी बहुत important. They sometimes call it binary logic. Okay, so in many of the books you can also get something called binary logic. Okay, that is the technical part of the name, though some of the books also call it conditional statements. You might have seen some questions wherein it says that in a country there is a liar, there is a truth teller, and there is an alternator. A liar is somebody who always lies, a truth teller is somebody who always tells the truth, and an alternator is somebody who alternates between truth and lie. Okay, now these type of questions, again, understanding the concept is very very important. Understanding some giveaway sentences is very very important. For example, I am a liar खाली एक ही टाइप का आदमी बोल सकता है. सोच के देखो, ठीक है, अगर वो लायर है, and when I am saying he is a liar, he fundamentally always lies. वो उससे मुंह से कभी सच बात निकल ही नहीं सकता, ठीक है, वो कभी आई एम ए लायर बोल ही नहीं पाएगा. ए लायर कैन नेवर से आई एम ए लायर, बिकॉज फिर उसके मुंह से सच निकल गया, जो कि पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. लायर इज ए लायर बिकॉज ही ऑलवेज लाइज. सिमिलरली ए ट्रूथ टेलर कैन नेवर से आई एम ए लायर, बिकॉज देन उसके मुंह से झूठ निकल गया, ठीक है, और उसके मुंह से कभी झूठ निकलता नहीं है. सो आई एम ए लायर, द मोमेंट ए सेज आई एम ए लायर, ठीक है, ही सेज आई एम ए लायर, you can quickly catch him and you can say, boss, ना तो तू लायर है, ना तो तू ट्रूथ टेलर है, तू पक्का ऑल्टरनेटर है, ठीक है. नाउ इफ यू डोंट नो this question is going to take you enormous amount of time because you'll have to make multiple cases, ठीक है. So read up the theory, ठीक है. Sentences like I am a liar, I am not a truth teller, ठीक है, these are some of the things which you should know. Similarly, the connected sentences, there's something like if I push a door it will move. Okay, now if I push a door it will move is a sentence जिसका जो inferential conclusion है, एक inferential conclusion है ये सारे sentences में, ठीक है, जो directly बोला नहीं गया है लेकिन आपको समझना है. बहुत लोग क्या करते हैं, बहुत लोग ये समझते हैं कि inferential conclusion वो होता है जिसमें sentence को उल्टा कर दो तो inferential conclusion होता है. If the door has moved, that means I have pushed it. No, that is not true at all. ठीक है, इस सेंटेंस का सिर्फ इतना मतलब है that मैं अगर धक्का मारूंगा तो दरवाजा थोड़ा मूव करेगा, ठीक है, लेकिन दरवाजा अगर मूव होके रखा है तो मैंने धक्का मारा ये बिल्कुल जरूरी नहीं है, ठीक है. दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो एन इफ देन सेंटेंस इज ए सफिशिएंट कंडीशन बट नॉट ए नेसेसरी कंडीशन. Which will mean that मेरे बॉडी में इतना ताकत है कि मैं पुश करूंगा तो दरवाजा मूव करेगा, लेकिन इसका मतलब यह नहीं कि दरवाजा सिर्फ धक्का मारने से ही खुलता है, ठीक है. सो देयरफॉर डोंट डू दिस मिस्टेक. ओके, देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन इफ एंड ओनली इफ. Only if I am a graduate I can do MBA. Now here only if becomes a necessary condition but not sufficient. Now why it is not sufficient, right? कैट एस्पिरेंट्स अभी तक समझ गए होंगे कि ग्रेजुएट होने से एमबीए नहीं कर सकते, ग्रेजुएट होने के बाद कैट भी लिखना पड़ेगा, उसको क्लियर भी करना पड़ेगा, जीडीपीआई भी क्लियर करना पड़ेगा, तब जाके मैं एमबीए कर सकता हूं. तो इट इज ए नेसेसरी कंडीशन. ग्रेजुएट नहीं हुए तो अब एमबीए नहीं कर सकते, चाहिए, लेकिन क्या वो सफिशिएंट है? नहीं. Okay, and therefore what are the inferential conclusions out of it? Please read the theory behind it. ठीक है, आप I cannot teach it through this webinar because it's a long topic, but yeah, grab a book, get the theory, understand what all are correct inferential conclusions, what are not, and based on that you should be able to solve these questions. ठीक है. Similarly, there is a sentence called if and only if which is necessary as well as sufficient. ठीक है, इसके ऊपर बेस करके क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग्स के बहुत क्वेश्चंस आए हैं, ठीक है, इन्फरेंशियल रीजनिंग के बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन आए हैं, और सिलेक्शन के क्वेश्चन तो आते ही हैं. दिस इज ए क्वेश्चन ऑल फॉर सिलेक्शन बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस इन LR. For example, if I say that in a team of 4 people for a quiz competition, if A is selected then B also has to be selected, what it only means that A select हुआ तो B select को select को करना ही पड़ेगा, but B select हुआ तो A जरूरी नहीं है. So therefore, if they give you questions like which one of them is a possible team, and if you see a team with B but without A, that may be a possible option. A है तो B भी रहेगा, लेकिन B है तो A मैंडेटरी नहीं है. ठीक है? And therefore, understanding the implications of it without understanding the theory, please don't blindly practice them. Okay? However, these non-cat reasoning questions that is coming, as I said, calendars, cubes, number series, letter series and etc. इसमें से यही दो चैप्टर है जिसको आप अगर बेसिक्स पढ़ोगे तो आपका क्वेश्चन थोड़ा जल्दी हो जाएगा, बट बिना बेसिक्स पढ़े अगर प्रैक्टिस भी करोगे तब भी शायद आपके कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो जाए. ठीक है? अगर आप इसके 15 क्वेश्चन करोगे और 15 डिफरेंट टाइप के क्वेश्चन करोगे तो भी शायद आपके कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो जाए. उसके लिए आपको उतना थ्योरी का मारपीट नहीं करना है, बट यस, द थ्योरी ऑलवेज हेल्प्स. हाउएवर, दिस क्वेश्चंस देयर इज नो थ्योरी. The blood relation question, series, or now non-verbal reasoning questions, the best and the only way to get a proficiency on them is do as many questions as possible. Okay, because here most of the logics are arbitrary. ठीक है? नंबर सीरीज का कोई लॉजिक नहीं होता है और कोई थ्योरी, कोई पैटर्न नहीं होता है. उस दिन क्वेश्चन सेटर का जो लॉजिक मन करा वो क्वेश्चन उसको बना देगा. एंड देयरफॉर if you know 15 16 different types of questions, क्योंकि गोल गोल घूम के उसी 15 16 17 टाइप के क्वेश्चन में ही आता है, you will be becoming more and more proficient. Your eyes and your brain will get synced to more and more of these questions and you will say okay, थोड़ा बेहतर हो जाएगा. ठीक है? तो आपको जहां पे देर से 2 मिनट लगता था पर क्वेश्चन, वो शायद 1 मिनट में होने लगेगा, आपको सीरीज दिखने लगेगा. बट दिस क्वेश्चंस, there is no theory, there is nothing to be done. The only thing that you need to do is practice as many questions as possible. That will help you to solve these questions. Okay? That is how you move towards them. Okay? So my last words for you before Nirmalya takes over to give you some extra gyan is remember, LR is a part of the LRDI section. Okay, and if you remember, I told you last time that the accuracy rate in LRDI is very very high, in LR especially, because बहुत सिंपल सी बात है, DI में आप कैलकुलेशन मिस्टेक कर सकते हो, लेकिन LR में कैलकुलेशन मिस्टेक करने का कोई चांस नहीं है. आपका डायग्राम बनेगा, you will be able to solve all the questions. अगर आपका डायग्राम नहीं बनेगा, बहुत कम चांसेस है कि आपका डायग्राम गलत इंफॉर्मेशन से बन जाए. वो वेन डायग्राम में बन सकता है लेकिन बाकी वो में नहीं बनेगा. अरेंजमेंट क्वेश्चन अगर आपसे होगा नहीं तो आपसे क्वेश्चंस भी नहीं होंगे. ठीक है? तो जैसे आपको दिखेगा कि क्वेश्चंस नहीं हो रहे, जो आपका करेक्ट आंसर होना चाहिए एज पर यू, वो ऑप्शंस में ही नहीं है. ठीक है? तो आपको दिख जाएगा कि आपका डायग्राम गलत है. तो LR part of LRDI, the accuracy rate is very very high. So therefore you don't have this problem of doing wrong calculations and reaching to a wrong answer. So suggestion is that if you improve your LR concepts, you will get highly benefited, because कभी कभार अगर आपके calculation speed slow है, then the LR questions can actually give you the cutoff. Okay? However, one thing that I want to stress, and today I stressed it, I think as much emphatically as possible, is that for CAT type questions that we discussed, that is arrangement selection, Venn diagram, we are talking about games and tournaments, and we are talking about conditional statements and selections questions, the concept is must. Only practice will not help. Okay? Because the concept forms the base of the diagram. Okay? And no 10 sets or 20 sets of questions will give you the exhaustive amount of concept that will be required. I can still produce a new question based on the old concept. Okay? And since this question have a theory and the questions follow that theory, and if you are aware about that theory, the questions can be done really fast and really well and correctly. My strong recommendation is, for this type of questions, please see the concept. If you don't have the concept in front of you, please get a book, take a professional help, attend some free workshops and etc. The only practicing it from mock cats will not help. Attend some classes or get a get a theory book. Okay, there are many theory books available in the market, so I'm just letting you know. Okay, for the non-cat reasoning, NCR is non-cat reasoning, not Delhi NCR. Okay, for non-cat reasoning add-ons, as we said, the number series, letter series question, or let's say the non-verbal reasoning questions and etc. Practice as many types and varieties as possible. Just try to remember around 15-20 types of different types of questions that you have done. That is good enough. Cubes and calendars, you can go through the theory a little bit, very easy theory. However, as I say, if you practice some 10 different types of questions from mock cats, maybe that is also good enough. The last and the most important thing of preparation. Today I'm not going to give you test strategies, I'm talking about only preparation strategies. Whenever you have done a practice test and etc., after the practice test is over, never ever forget to revise all the questions, all of them. If it was a 20 questions practice test, sectional test, or you have done a mock cat and there were 20 questions in the LRDI section or 22 questions in the LRDI section, revise it all. Okay, revise it all. आपको लग सकता है कि ये सेट तुम्हारे से हो गया था, तो मैं इसको क्यों solution देखूं, क्यों इसको revise करूं? But the simplest reason that you might have got the answer correct, but maybe not in the most efficient way. So revise it completely. I mean, without any doubt in my mind, revise it completely, whether you got them in the first attempt or not. Okay, that will increase your efficiency, speed, accuracy. जो लोग तुक्का से हो गए, उनका theory बन जाएगा. Make sure that this is done and this is done well. Right? If you have any other questions regarding LR, please put it in the comment section. I would request Nirmalya to take over.
Thank you, Dhruv sir. Once again, it was a fantastic session again. A couple of things which you mentioned are the key to high score, and I'm sure this year students probably would need a little bit of high score. It would help rather a high score. I'm not sure whether the cutoff will go up as we started off with the discussion, but of course I'm sure that with a larger number of CAT takers, the top B schools will have a larger pool to select from, right? The filtration would be a little stringent maybe. But yes, one of the key thing which you have said was like as many as questions as possible. Negative inputs has to be first understood, and then slowly and gradually maybe a reverse a path to be taken to crack the question. And LR, out of LRDI, LR is the part where you can have a possibility of a higher scoring, because of the simple fact that in DI you can make a lot of calculation errors. So thank you so much. Next week we are not having it, and of course next week we are coming back again. This session was in association with VIT B School, which is one of the top B schools of the country right now, under the aegis of VIT Institute, which is again one of the top most private institute as per NIRF. And this VIT B school can give couple of other B schools, the top B schools, run for their money, and a very good competition because of the high ROI. At a fees of somewhere around 7 lakh, the average salary of somewhere around 9.68 lakh with the highest salary of 15 lakh, the ROI is among the top most. And of course, the campus and the recruiters are all from already they come to VIT because of their the undergraduate, which is a very popular course. This program is one of the force to reckon with if you compare with the top B schools. So till then, till the next Friday when we come back, goodbye everybody. But of course, do keep logging in on campusfilter.com. Take mock tests; those are free mock tests. Take as many mock tests as you want. And also note that you can apply to more than 250. I mean, you can apply to maybe whatever numbers you want. It can be 10 or 7 or 8 B schools which you have selected your preferred destinations. but we have listed out for you 250 plus B schools in one single window, where you can go to that page, you can put that checklist your preferred B schools, you can put it in your wish list. We will send you alerts on those particular B schools, and then directly apply from that page. So you need not have to copy paste multiple links. It is on one single page, and just apply from that page. Thank you so much. Good night. Thank you, Dhruva sir.